Alright, so in this video we're going to learn about the zero product property. So let's talk about a few things. Zero obviously means the word zero. Product means to multiply. So we're going to be dealing with some parentheses that represent multiplying. And then we're going to learn a property. Okay? Alright, so solutions. What are some other names for solutions that we've used in the past? We've used the roots. We've called them zeros. We've called them x-intercepts. Okay, those are all words for solutions. So what are the different ways we can write solutions to a quadratic? Remember, we can write x equals a number. We can write them as an ordered pair, where x comma 0, or you could write them with squiggly brackets, like here's an x value, and here's another x value, okay? So that's kind of like that's a number, and that's a number. So again, you can write x equals a number. You can write them as an ordered pair with a 0 for the y, or you could write squiggly brackets around your solution set, okay? All right, so let's look at what the zero product property is. So here's the generic form for the zero product property. So when you're solving using the zero product property, you're going to set both parentheses equal to 0. So you're going to set them equal to 0, and then you're going to solve each to get the solution to the quadratic. Okay, remember this is also called the x-intercept. So you are trying to solve this factored quadratic equation to find its solutions, to find its x-intercepts. And to do that, you're going to set this parenthesis equal to 0 and this parenthesis equal to 0. So let's take a look at some problems. Okay, so you've got two parentheses with some binomials in them. You're going to set this one equal to 0 and then the right one equal to 0. So you're going to write two different equations. So your first equation is going to be 2x plus 3 equals 0. Your second equation is going to be 5x plus 2 equals 0. Okay? So now all you're going to do is solve this two-step problem to find the x-intercept or to find your solution. So you would subtract 3 on both sides. You would get 2x equals negative 3. Divide by 2. So x is going to equal negative 1.5. Okay? For this equation over here, you would subtract 2. You would get 5x equals negative 2. Divide by 5. And x is going to equal, you can leave it like negative 2 over 5. Or you can also change it to a decimal and make it negative 0.4. Okay? So here are your two solutions. Okay, so what we can actually do is sketch a rough graph of what this is going to look like. So if I had an x and y axis, negative 1.5 would maybe be right here. Negative 0.4 would be right there. And notice since there's no number in front of my parentheses, my parabola is going to open up. So here's a rough sketch of something that it would look like. So it would cross the x-axis at a negative 1.5 and at a negative 0.4. Okay? So the zero product property allows you to find those x-intercepts or the solutions. All right, let's take a look at the next one. So solve this equation. So notice how this one's different is you've got a number out front, okay? But unless it has a variable, we're going to kind of ignore it and just set the ones with variables equal to 0. So one equation is 3k minus 8 equals 0. Your other equation is going to be k plus 7 equals 0. Okay, so I'm going to add 8 to this equation on both sides. I would get 3k equals 8. Divide by 3. So my k is going to equal 8/3, which if you want to make it a decimal, you could say 2.67, right? Lastly, over here, I'm going to subtract 7 to both sides, and this one's just a one-step problem, so k equals negative 7. Okay. So if I were to draw a rough sketch 7 would be somewhere over here. Sorry, that should be -7, so it's going to be on the other side. And then 2.67 will be somewhere over there. This 4 out front tells me it's just going to be a nice little opening up graph. So there's the rough sketch of the parabola. So that zero product property is going to help you find where it crosses the x-axis. So let's look at a couple more. So again, this one is different. I don't have two parentheses, but I can pretend to have a parenthesis around that if I wanted to. But again, you're going to set each part equal to 0 and solve. So I would have 4k equals 0 as one equation, and then I would have 3k minus 2 equals 0 as my other equation. So again, this is a one-step problem. I'm going to divide by 4. 0 divided by anything is just a 0. Over here, add 2. So 3k equals 2. Divide by 3. So k is going to equal 2/3. Again, if you want a decimal, that would be 0.67. Okay? So again, that's how you use the zero product property to find your solutions, to find the x-intercepts, to find the roots. Okay? Alrighty. One more, and then you can try one on your own. Alright, this one looks different because it's got a squared term, obviously. This squared term, we know, just means write it twice. So I can turn this problem into something I know how to do. So this is the same as x minus 6 equals 0. Okay. So again, notice when I set each of them equal to 0, I'm going to get the same equation. I'm going to get x minus 6 equals 0. So if I were to add 6 to both sides, I would get x equals 6. So in all the other ones I had 2 solutions, but in this one I only have 1. And what that means is, like on a graph, at a 6, your parabola would just hit it once. Okay, so that can happen. You can have one solution for these as well. Okay, all right, so you're going to try the next 2 on your own, and then we'll go over them. So press pause and try this problem and then the next one. Okay, so the first thing I did was set this first parenthesis equal to 0, and I got 5p equals 4 divided by 5, and I got 4/5. You could also make the decimal 0.8. So that's one solution. Again, p plus 3. You remember a shortcut from graphing factored form is to just change the signs, and that is totally true in this case. Or you could say subtract 3 from both sides to get p equals a -3. Okay, so those are the 2 solutions to that one. On this one over here, I got 6r equals 0. And then r plus 4 equals 0. So notice if you have a number in a variable and you set it equal to 0, your intercept's always going to be 0. Okay. Again, over here, r plus 4, shortcut, change the sign to a negative and you're done, or you can obviously solve it out. Okay. So that's how you find the solution to something using the zero product property. Okay. So we'll work on our IXL for finding zero product property, which would be BB6. Thank you for watching.